Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wabihi nasta'in wala umuri dunya wa din. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. For the first, I will introduce myself. My name is Triratna Halistasari from the first group, who will presentation about the function and principle of guidance and counseling. The first is the function of guidance and counseling. According to several sources that have been read, guidance and counseling has 10 functions, namely understanding, facilitation, adjustment, distribution, prevention, repair and healing, maintenance, development, advocacy, and adaptation. Okay. Before we going into the discussion, I will show you a case which will be analyzed later using the guidance and counseling function. But not all function can be used to analyze this case. So the case is like this. Nadia is a class 10 student of a favorite high school in Yogyakarta who recently graduated. She comes from a socially and economically disadvantaged family and lives in rural areas. As the first child, who is considered to be responsible for the family, initially Nadia's parents did not agree if she continued her studies in city. However, due to the persuasion and consideration of Nadia's intelligent child from her homeroom teacher, in the end, Nadia's parents agreed. Since being accepted into a favorite high school, on the one hand, Nadia is proud to be a part of the school, but on the other hand, she has started to feel inferior to her friends who come from wealthy families. Nadia also felt that she was in the wrong social circle. She began to feel rejected, isolated, and so considered. The longer it takes, it actually has an impact on their learning, on their learning performance, and their grades are decreasing day by day. Can Nadia still survive, and how does guidance and counseling function in this case? Okay, let's be straight to the first function, which is the understanding function. This understanding function is a function of guidance and counseling that helps individuals to have an understanding of themselves. For example, what talent and potential does he have, then what skill does he have, and their environment, either from education, work, or religion norms. Based on this understanding, individuals are expected to be able to develop their potential optimally and adapt themselves to the environment dynamically and constructively. In the case above, this understanding function serves to give Nadia an understanding that the main purpose of going to school is to learn and acknowledge and achieve achievement. So, to achieve this achievement, you don't need an academic background or others. The second function is the facilitation function. The facilitation function is the function of guidance and counseling that provides convenience to individuals in achieving optimal, harmonious, and balanced growth and development of all aspect of the counseling. In this function, the counselor must be able to provide confidence to show that the individual can solve the problem and be able to achieve optimal development, which means that the counselor must meet all the needs desired by the individual in order to solve the problems experienced by the individual himself. The third function is the adjustment function. Helps individual to adjust dynamically and constructively to educational program, school regulation, or norms. And the second, help create an adjustment between student and their environment. So, the result obtained are student personnel compatibility with the environment in which they are located. For the example, in the case above is Nadia, who is a new student who was ostracized by her friends because of the different economic background. Then, the counselor must help Nadia to adjust to her environment and also help her friend who isolated her by giving her obligation and also getting used to accepting new student. So, the adjustment to the existing environment will help achieve learning. The next function is the distribution function. The distribution function is a guidance and counseling function that helps individuals plan their future education, work, and careers, including choosing specialization programs which are in accordance with their abilities, interests, talent, skill, and personality traits. And counselor help individuals choose extracurricular activities, majors, or study programs, and establish mastery of career or position that match their interests, talent, skill, and other personality traits. In carrying out this function, counselors need to work together with other educators inside and outside educational institution. An example from the case above is that Nadia is a smart student. The teacher can see her potential in a particular subject, which then Nadia pursues it, for example, by tutoring or taking part in competition that can motivate her to develop her potential. This dispensing function is not very visible in this case. Let's see, the next is preventive function. The preventive function is a function of guidance and counseling as a counselor's effort to always anticipate various problems that may occur and try to prevent them, so that they are not experienced by individuals. Counselors provide guidance to individuals on how to avoid action or activities that endanger themselves. The techniques that can be used are orientation service, information, and group guidance. An example from the case above is preventing Nadia from feeling rejected or even not being considered by her friends, which make Nadia have a poor study performance or even makes Nadia do more things than that, for example, stress or even suicide. For the next is repair and healing function. The repair function is the function of guidance and counseling to help individuals so they can correct mistakes in thinking, feeling, and acting willing. The function of repair or healing is a guidance aid in solving problems faced by the counselee. improvement first the individual from the various problems he faced, both concerning personal, social, learning, and career aspects. While the healing function is a function of guidance and counseling that is healing curative. Counselor guidance and counseling provide treatment to individuals so that they have rational thinking partners and have the right feelings, so the individuals will plan and carry out productive and normative action. The techniques that can be used are counseling and remedial teaching. The next is maintenance function. The maintenance function is the function of guidance and counseling that helps individuals to be able to maintain normal healthy individual condition and maintain a conducive situation that has been created within them. The function of maintenance is to maintain everything that is good for the individual or can develop it for the better. Create interesting, creative, and facultative optional programs for students. For example, the provision of seminars, learning motivation, or organizing extracurricular activities. Okay, the next function is the development function. The development function is a guidance and counseling function that makes counselor always strive to create a conducive learning environment which facilitate individual development. Counselor and all other teachers work together to formulate and implement guidance and counseling programs systematically and continuously in an effort to help individuals achieve their developmental tasks. Guidance and counseling techniques that can be used here are information service, tutorial, group discussion, or brainstorming, homerooms, and field trips. The next is advocacy function. The advocacy function is a function of guidance and counseling that helps individuals in the form of defending the rights of individuals who experience discriminatory treatment. The advocacy function provides a defense to individuals or groups of individuals so that individuals get excited and rise in a hope so that the problems that occur don't make the individual slump and will get new problems. The form of defense doesn't mean justifying what he is doing is right, but providing understanding or direction to the problems faced by individuals. As a counselor who serves every problem faced by individual, he must provide a defense so that individuals get comfortable so that they can easily solve exciting problem. For the last function is the adaptation function. The adaptation function is a guidance and counseling function that helps education implementers, especially counselor, teacher, or lecturer, to adapt educational program to educational backgrounds, interests, abilities, and individual needs. By using educate information about counselors, mentors, or counselors or counselee can assist teachers or lecturers in treating individuals appropriately, both in selecting and compiling learning or lecture materials, choosing methods and learning process, as well as adapting learning material according to their abilities and speed of student. In the case above, this function is not visible because there is no problem about the educational program that makes Nadia's learning achievement decrease. Okay, let's get into the chapter on principle of guidance and counseling. Principles are fundamental assumptions or belief system relate to the main roles, function, and activities of a profession. Yusuf and Nur Ihsan put forward several basic principles that are seen as the foundation for guidance and counseling service. These principles stem from the philosophical concept of humanity that form the basic for the provision of assistance or guidance service, both in school and out school. Those principles are as follow. For the first, guidance and counseling for all individuals. This principle means that guidance is given to all individuals, both problematic and non-problematic, both men and women, children, teenagers, and adults. In this case, the approach used in the guidance is more preventive and developmental than healing, and group technique is preferred over individual. And the second principle is guidance and counseling as an individualizing process. Each individual is unique, different from each other, and through individual guidance is helped to maximize the development of his unique case. This principle also means that the focus of the target of assistance is the individual, even though the guidance service use group technique. The third principle is guidance emphasizes the positive. In reality, there are still individuals who have a negative perception of guidance because guidance is seen as a way to suppress aspiration. In contrast to this view, guidance is actually a helping process to establish strength and success, because guidance and counseling is a way to build a positive view of oneself, provide encouragement and opportunities of growth. The fourth principle is guidance and counseling is a joint effort. Guidance is not only the duty or responsibility of counselors, but also the duties of teacher and principals. They as a team are involved in the guidance and counseling process. The fifth principle is decision making is essential in guidance and counseling. Guidance and counseling are directed at helping individuals to make choice and make decisions. Guidance and counseling have the role to provide information and advice to individuals, all of which are important for him in making decisions. The individual lives is directed by his goals, and guidance facilitates the individual to consider, adjust to, and perfect the goals through appropriate decision making. The main purpose of guidance is to develop the individual's ability to solve problems and make decisions. And the last principle is guidance takes place in various settings, scenes of life. The provision of guidance service doesn't only take place in school, but also in families, companies, and industry, government, or private institution and society in general. The field of guidance service is also multi-aspect, which includes personal, social, education, and work aspect. Developmental guidance and counseling activities are made into service units and supporting units. The existence of school achievement, both school and individual, academic and non-academic, proves that the school has implemented the principle and function of guidance and counseling in an effort to develop students' self. The principle of self-development, as stated in the book on Basics of Guidance and Counseling by Prayitno and Armi, that the principle is the result of a combination of theoretical studies and field studies that are used as guidelines for implementing something intended. The principle as follows. The first principle regarding service objective, namely, guidance and counseling serve all individuals regardless of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, and socioeconomic status. And second, guidance and counseling deals with individual attitudes and behavior. They form various aspects of a complex and unique personality. Therefore, guidance and counseling service need to reach the uniqueness and personal complexity of the counselee. The third is counseling guidance fully pays attention to the stage and various aspects of the counselee's development. And last is guidance and counseling give main attention to the individual different. They are the subject of its ministry. Okay, the second principle is principle regarding individual programs. The first, guidance and counseling, deals with matters concerning influence of the individual mental and physical condition on his adjustment at home, at school, and its relation to social contact with work, and conversely, the influence of the environment on the counselee's mental and physical condition. The second is economic, social, and cultural inequalities are factors that cause problems for individuals, all of which are the main concern of counseling guidance service. The third principle is principle regarding service programs. The first, guidance and counseling are an integral part of counseling education and development efforts. Therefore, guidance and counseling program must be harmonious and carried out without education programs and student development. The second is guidance and counseling program must be flexible and adapted to the need of the counselee, the community, and the condition of the institution. The third is guidance and counseling programs are arranged on an ongoing basis from the lowest to the highest level of education. For the fourth principle is principle regarding to the purpose and delivery of service. For the first, guidance and counseling must be directed to the development of individuals who are finally able to guide themselves in dealing with problems. The second, in the process of guidance and counseling, decisions taken and will be made by individuals should be on the individual's own volition, not under pressure from the supervisor or other parties. The third is individual problems must be handled by experts in the field relevant to the problem at hand. The fourth is cooperation between supervising teacher, other teachers, and parents of students will greatly determine the result of guidance service. And the last is principle of guidance and counseling in school. For the first, counselors must start their careers from the start with a clear work programs and have high readiness to implement the program. The second is counselors must maintain a professional attitude without disturbing harmonious relationship between the counselor and other school personnel and students. The third is the counselor is responsible for understanding his role as a professional counselor and translating that role into real activities. The fourth is counselors are responsible for all students. The fifth is counselor must understand and develop the potential to help a student with moderately severe problems. And the last is counselor must be able to work effectively with the principal. Okay, the development of the guidance and counseling service program is pursued through maximum utilization of the result of measurement and assessment of individuals involved in the service process and the guidance and counseling program itself. Okay, I think enough of my presentation. If there is less or more, please forgive me. And last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.